Hello, everyone. My name is Don, the movie reviewer, and today we're going to be talking about Warner Brothers and the DCEU Justice League. Now, I'm not a fan of the DCEU because their track record hasn't been tremendous with me. Man of Steel, which was their kicking off film, it was okay. I liked it. I give it a B minus. They should have spent more time on Krypton because I felt like they just rushed through everything, and I didn't really get a sense of who Superman was. And I thought the story they didn't tell it chronologically. It was just kind of like chopstick of like, here's Superman when he's an adult. Here's when he's a kid. Now let's go back to when he's an adult, and go back to when he's a kid. And I just thought that was very sloppily handled. And then after that, they came up with Batman versus Superman, and I felt like they rushed that out really, like too fast because I feel like they should have done a solo Batman movie right after doing Man of Steel. And I feel like they were just trying to catch up to Marvel, so they just immediately came out with Batman versus Superman. And Batman versus Superman is an atrocity. That movie is god awful. That movie's a fucking F. Fuck that movie. And then after that, they came out with Suicide Squad, which is a bad movie. Like, I don't give a fuck who's in it. Suicide Squad? Like, what does this have to do with the DCEU? Then they came out with Wonder Woman, which I thought was a really good movie. It was definitely a step in the right direction. Wonder Woman is a phenomenal film. It's like, yeah, it has sprinkles of Captain America in there because it takes place back in the day, but I do enjoy Wonder Woman, and how the story progresses. And I would only say that the downside to Wonder Woman is like the last 10 minutes or so with the whole battle at the end with Ares is garbage, and it's just like the movie completely sidetracks and becomes like this mediocre like superhero film, but everything before that was fantastic. So with the DCEU, it's been really lackluster for me. So I wasn't really anticipating Justice League, but hey, I'm a Batman sucker. Batman is my number one favorite superhero, so I just had to watch it. And I don't like Zack Snyder's films all that much either. Like, really, I don't like any of his movies except for 300. Like, that's his best film in my opinion. And so I wasn't really excited for Justice League, but I love superhero movies. I love Batman, so I watched Justice League. Now here's my review.
We have to be ready. You, me, the others. There's an attack coming from far away.
Not coming, Bruce. It's already here. The others. Where are they? They said the Age of Heroes would never come again.
It has to.
One thing I can tell you is you got to be free. Come together right now.
Shall we?
Bruce Wayne / Batman recruits Aquaman, Cyborg, The Flash, Wonder Woman, and a resurrected Superman in order to fight off an evildoer named Steppenwolf who wants to destroy the world with 4 doomsday devices called Mother Boxes. To me, Justice League isn't all that memorable. When the movie first started, I was intrigued, but then my intrigue slowly started to decline as each scene went along. Then I slightly became bored with each new scene that was presented to me. The story as a whole, it's just like a mediocre generic thing. You have your hero who wants to recruit someone. Then the other hero who's being recruited is like, I'm a lone wolf. Then all of a sudden, at the end of the movie, they come around and then they form their Justice League. The movie was fun as I was watching it. But then once I left the theater, I said to myself, I don't really remember everything that happened. It's a pretty forgettable experience. It's like, yeah, I'm having a tremendous amount of fun as I'm watching all of this take place because I love Batman, I love Wonder Woman, I know who those two are. Then we have Superman who comes back in, and I know who he is, and I think this movie really handles Superman well. But with everybody else like Cyborg, Aquaman, they're just mediocre. With the Flash, he's mediocre too, but he is the most interesting out of the two I just mentioned. The villain is your standard villain. It's like flavor of the month. So I wasn't really interested in what he was doing because I knew exactly where everything was going to go with him. And so I wasn't really all of that satisfied. I had fun with Justice League. I thought that the beginning of the film was a bit slow and I wasn't into it, but then it started to progress and I was like, okay, this is cool. I'm having fun. Then the team gets together and I'm like, okay, cool. And then they resurrect Superman. I'm like, okay, cool. That's my favorite part of the movie. It's when they resurrect Superman. Then they fight Steppenwolf, which I think is boring. Then the ending comes and I'm like, okay, I already knew this was happening and this is kind of boring. It's just too much CGI. And it's like a CGI fest, and some of the CGI looks absolutely terrible, if you ask me. Like, that's one of the gripes I had with this movie. I said the CGI in here is pretty bad. Like, Man of Steel, CGI was good. Suicide Squad, CGI was good. Wonder Woman, CGI was good. Batman vs. Superman, CGI was pretty piss poor, but it wasn't like this. Like in Justice League, I think the CGI in here is atrocious, especially with Steppenwolf and the way he looks. It reminded me of Grand Moff Tarkin from Star Wars Rogue One, which is really bad. He looked absolutely terrible. I don't know why they couldn't have went with like a completely just like what they did with Cyborg. You have a real actor and the rest of him is fake. I don't know why they went with a completely CGI character. And then there are scenes in this movie where you see a background that a character is standing in, and the background looks absolutely fake. And it just took me out of the movie, this horrible CGI. And if I hadn't known about Henry Cavill and his mustache situation, there were scenes where I did kind of notice it, where I was like, oh, his upper lip looks fake, or his mouth and jaw look fake. So I was looking for that because I didn't know the behind-the-scenes stuff, and I think the behind-the-scenes stuff hurt this movie in a tad way. Ben Affleck plays Batman/Bruce Wayne, and Batman is my favorite Justice League member. I love Ben Affleck as Batman. I think he's the definitive Batman. Like, I love Christian Bale, but Ben Affleck with his stunt double or whoever, he's great. Because this Batman is a ninja, and I've been waiting for this. Like, Batman doing all sorts of flips. Like, Christopher Nolan is a fantastic director, but he couldn't film Batman in the way I wanted to see him, with just like showing his ninja skills. And with Zack Snyder, even though I don't like his movies, I could commend Zack Snyder for being able to shoot Batman in a way that I've always wanted to see him. The way we've seen him in the comics, the way we've seen him in the animated series, is just him being a complete ninja, man, just like doing all sorts of flips and kicks. Like in BVS, he was great, and in this, he's great as well. Ben Affleck plays Bruce Wayne perfectly, and from what I understand, Ben Affleck is trying to find a way to segue out of playing Batman. And in Justice League, I will say that there is a scene where they do kind of mention that, yes, Ben Affleck, his Bruce Wayne, is old and crippled and is like in a way saying, I want to get out of playing this character because I'm getting old and I can't do it anymore. So I like that they sprinkled that in there. And Ben Affleck, Bruce Wayne, fantastic. Henry Cavill plays Superman slash Clark Kent. And I would say him in Man of Steel was good. Like, I know a lot of people want to complain about, oh, Henry Cavill is not the Superman I grew up with. I'm not a big fan of Superman. He's my least favorite superhero because he's too powerful. But this Superman in Justice League, I loved his resurrection scene. I wish it would have went on a little longer because it was the most interesting part of the movie for me. And Superman competing with the Flash in here was fantastic. Like, I love the scene where the Flash is like running towards Superman, and Superman just looks at him like, and then they start fighting, but Superman misses his punches, and then they have a little competition at the end with see who can move the fastest, which was great. So Henry Cavill, and I loved him using his other abilities in this movie with like his ice breath. I'm glad that they inserted that in here because you see him in Man of Steel and you see him in BVS, and it's like, dude, you have other powers other than your like X-ray vision and your laser vision. So I'm glad that they implemented his other abilities in here. And I would say in Justice League, Henry Cavill, good Superman. I liked him. Amy Adams, Lois Lane in this movie, you know, I liked her better in this than in BVS because in BVS I thought she was just like a damsel in distress like a majority of the time. And in this, you know, she has a purpose of like, yeah, you know, she calmed Superman down, which was great. You know, she's his heart. And it made sense. Gal Gadot plays Wonder Woman slash Diana Prince, and Wonder Woman is awesome, but I'm still arguing the fact that why is she wearing such a skimpy outfit? People can complain about Psylocke and X-Men Apocalypse wearing a skimpy outfit, but it's in the comics. So Wonder Woman is wearing her outfit from the comics, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, is she indestructible? Because I'm confused, because she's showing her skin, which she's a woman, and I guess she has to show skin. Why can't she have pants? I'm still like, why can't she have pants? Why she gotta wear the skimpy outfit where you can see her legs and her skin? And I guess she's indestructible, so when she slides across the floor, she doesn't get like floor or rug burn or whatever, you know? And it's like, I mean, besides that, Gal Gadot is great in this movie. It's a long way from Fast and Furious, so she's really come along as an actress. She plays this character. I believe her as Wonder Woman. She's great. Ezra Miller plays the Flash slash Barry Allen. His scenes are good. He plays the Flash perfectly. There is this little side story about him and his father who's incarcerated, and I don't care about that because it doesn't go anywhere and it's just generic and mediocre. So who cares about his dad? But the character by itself, he's great. He has some really good comedic lines in here. He has some of the best scenes. I liked Ezra Miller as the Flash. He was good. Jason Momoa plays Aquaman slash Arthur Curry, and I felt like there's some stuff missing from his character because you see him drinking, not a lot, but you see him drinking, like downing a whole bottle, and we see this in the trailer, and I'm thinking they're going to go somewhere with that, like he's an alcoholic or something, but they don't do anything with it other than using it for like a cool shot with some cool music. So his character didn't really do anything. His character's just there, and I'm like, okay, they implement him in the movie in like a coincidental way where it's like, oh, he has one of the mother boxes on his home like underworld, and it's like, oh, and the only reason he's involved is because he's getting attacked. But then at first he's like, I work alone, and then it's like, well, they attacked my world, so now I gotta get involved. And I just like, his story wasn't compelling to me. He's just there. He's cool, but they don't really flesh his character out, so I didn't really understand him. Like, they give you a basic layout of what he is, like, oh, he helps out this little, you know, town and feeds them and protects them, but you don't really know why. Like, is there some obligation, or is he just nice? But he's like, I work alone, but I'm confused about what his purpose is in life. Like, what is he doing? So I thought Aquaman could have been fleshed out a little bit more. Ray Fisher plays Cyborg slash Victor Stone, and if you've seen BVS, you know how he got created. And in this, they kind of illustrate what he is, how he feels and whatnot. And he's the same as Jason Momoa, like, oh, you know, I'm a lone warrior. And by the end, he becomes a part of the team. He looked cool. Some of the CGI did look pretty bad. Like, you could tell, oh, his face is just like a floating face on top of like some fake CGI, which looked kind of took me out of the movie. But Cyborg was cool. I loved the way he looked. I loved his design. The actor did a good job. He was okay. Jeremy Irons plays Alfred, and it's Jeremy Irons. He's great. Diana Lane plays Martha Kent, and it's the same thing as every other movie in this universe that she's been in. Calvin Hans plays Steppenwolf. He just does his voice, and I seriously suggest that this movie should have went with a completely real character, like what they did with Cyborg, make his body CGI but his face real, and they didn't do that. And I think they should have went that route, because every time I saw Steppenwolf on the screen, it took me out of the movie because it looked really bad. Like, the CGI looked absolutely fake. I'm like, Transformers movie sucks, but their CGI is way better than this, and that's bad. And so it's like, every time I saw Steppenwolf on screen, I was like, he's just a generic villain. I don't care what his purpose is. Obviously, they're going to beat him at the end. So he's boring. Every time Steppenwolf popped up on screen, I was like, he fucking sucks. And he looks terrible. And it took me out of the movie. This movie's pretty boring. But I did have fun while watching it. But it's just like every 5 minutes there's an action scene, and there's like a minor story in here, you know? It's just like your mediocre thing where, like, oh, Batman has a vision. Oh, evil's coming. Now he has to recruit a team to fight off this evil. And the team comes together. And it's like, the only part that I was really interested in was when they resurrected Superman. And I feel like they should have done more with that, because they were debating about, oh, should we bring him back or shouldn't we? And then, Wonder Woman and Batman were arguing about it, and I thought that was really interesting. And then, you got Ben Affleck's Batman being physically hurt when he got thrown into the car, which was great. I love that. And it definitely hints at, like, oh, he's not going to be able to be Batman forever. And so it's like, yeah, that's an interesting way of, like, Batman really wanting to stop playing this character, and for the movie giving him a legitimate reason as to why. So I thought that was cool. So all the stuff with Superman was great. I like Superman in this movie. But stuff with Steppenwolf was garbage, mediocre stuff, and his CGI character looked awful. It took me out of the movie completely. The Flash was great. I loved Ezra Miller. He was funny. He was great. He was fantastic. All his scenes were good. Jason Momoa's Aquaman was like my least favorite character, because I really wanted to know why he was drinking so much. The movie doesn't illustrate anything about that. It's just like, oh, he's drinking, he's cool, and that's it. I mean, yeah, maybe the movie didn't have to go anywhere with it, but then why show us that? You know what I'm saying? It's just like, oh, it's some cool shot. We got that in the trailer. You could have took that out of the movie because it doesn't really do anything. I mean, downs a whole bottle, and it's like that doesn't affect him with anything that he does on the battlefield. Like, he doesn't really have any problems, except his homeland gets attacked because they have a mother box, and that's it. And then with Batfleck, I mean, we know why Ben Affleck's here. We've seen BVS. We know why Wonder Woman's here. I feel like the characters who are already established and you've seen those movies, they have a reason and you know what their backstory is. But then with the characters who we didn't see in a solo film, like Aquaman and Cyborg and Flash, they don't really get flushed out 100%. Like, Flash has something with his dad who's incarcerated, and I don't care. It's like stupid. And then we have Aquaman, who drinks a lot but doesn't go anywhere with that. And then it's like, you got Cyborg, who I understand because he feels like he's a monster. So I feel like I understand him more than I understand Aquaman and Flash. And Flash is cool, Aquaman is cool, and they're all cool, but it's just like they're not flushed out completely to where I feel for them as a character, and then their story's completely mediocre, where it's like, Aquaman, I'm a loner, Cyborg, I'm a loner, and then by the end they just, oh, I'm gonna join the team because whatever, why not? Because it's Justice League. Obviously they're gonna join up together. And you got Flash who's just like, oh, no, I'm gonna join the team. It's like, whatever. And it's just not epic as it should be. It's like, you see the Avengers, and I don't mean to bring up Marvel, but you see the Avengers, and it's like, it sticks with me. I remember lines, I remember scenes, I remember characters and moments. And with Justice League, it doesn't feel it's as epic. It's just like, I'm having fun while I'm watching it, and it's cool, but then after I leave the theater, I'm just like, whatever. I don't remember shit except the Superman stuff, which was really good. Overall, I would give the Justice League movie a B+. I had fun with it while I was in the theater watching it, but then after I left the theater, I didn't care. All I remembered was the trailer and the Superman stuff from the movie, which was really good. I thought they should have expanded upon that. But the characters aren't really memorable except for the ones we already know. The ones that we are just getting introduced to, they should have given more development with and expanded on like who they were as individuals instead of just having a mediocre thing where I'm a lone wolf and now I'm going to join the team because of I'm supposed to, because that's what the script told me to do. And so, yeah, I would say that, yeah, it's fun when you go to the theater and watch it. It's fun. But then when you leave, it's like, I don't really remember it. It's like, I don't care, you know, and it's just like action scene after action scene after action scene. And the story is not really all that interesting. It's just like generic, which pretty much every superhero movie is like that, but at least some of them have some sort of like memorable moment. Whereas with Justice League, the only memorable moment I have is with the Superman stuff, which didn't last that long. And with Superman in the opening scene, I thought it was fantastic. Like there was this kid who asked him, "Oh, how do you feel about Earth?" or something like that. And he pauses and he's thinking about it, and I was like, that's intriguing. It immediately hooked me. Even though I could be like, oh, it's kind of like looks fake, mustache, whatever. But it was interesting. And I don't feel like they really expanded upon that. They didn't really like, because you see these opening credits and it looks kind of like they're just shoehorning stuff in here. It's nothing memorable. It's entertaining while you're watching it, but after we leave the theater, for me at least, it's just like it's the run of the mill, a dime a dozen type of superhero movie. And would I watch it again? Sure, because it's fun, but after it won't last. It won't be like something memorable or something I'd put in my top 10 favorite superhero movies. It's just here and it's fun and it's nothing more than that, which is sad. It should have been epic because this is the first Justice League movie, but it's not. Anyways, as always, thank you for watching and I'll see you next time.
It's good to see you playing well with others again.
Just like a bat. I dig it.
Maybe temporary.